Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking all about mindfulness, what it is and how you can put it into your life to become a better musician in the future. Now, mindfulness is this really cool kind of superpower that we can all access within ourselves that allows us to be more patient, have more dedication for goals in the future, and just overall be better people in society. I know that's a big claim, but it's really true. Studies show that doing lots of mindfulness practice allows you to shrink parts of the brain associated with your ability to react to certain situations, and it actually over time does make you a more patient and observant and selfless human being. So why is this important for musicians? For one, music is such a long-term career. If you really want to be a performer, it takes lots and lots of years of working really hard, harder than anybody else, to even have a chance to be at the top. And that takes lots of discipline it extends so far, it goes even outside of the practice room. You have to be able to be disciplined in the practice room, and then you have to be able to be disciplined in the rest of your life so that you can find time to get in the practice room every day. There's so much more that goes into it than a lot of people think. And all of this is connected to your ability to have self-discipline and to be consistent over a long period of time. And that is exactly what mindfulness will teach you. So just at a glance, some common ways to practice mindfulness are through things like meditation, where you just sit there and focus on nothing. It sounds crazy, but the best way to grow in your mindfulness practice is to just sit there and think about nothing sometimes. This is the most common form of meditation, and it's a great way to kind of unplug from the rest of the world. I mean, every day we're so connected to our phones and to social media. We're constantly getting all this input from others around us of people asking us to go hang out with them, or teachers assigning us extra work, or having to prepare for a studio class or performance. There's so much we have to keep track of at all times, and it's so easy to just have things be constantly spinning through your head that just taking a couple minutes every single day to really sit down and let go of all of that can be so important in not only keeping your sanity, but in keeping you from burning out as well. The next mindfulness practice is called affirmations. This is super important for us as musicians, as we're constantly getting feedback from others on our performances and our recitals, and it can really take a toll on who we believe we are as a person. Now, playing an instrument and honing your craft for so many years, it's really easy to have your self-worth attached to your playing ability in the moment. Now, this can be bad and dependent because it's not a matter of if you're going to mess up, but when. And whenever that moment does happen, if you do feel this way, you're going to feel very poorly about yourself, and that's no way to go through life, especially as a musician. Now, what are affirmations? Affirmations are small positive phrases that reflect the ideal state of mind you want to have in life. This can be anything from how you view yourself as a musician to the kind of person you're striving to be. Oftentimes, by repeating a small positive phrase to yourself over and over again throughout the day over the course of many weeks, your subconscious will actually create a self-fulfilling prophecy around this positive statement. Affirmations like these can be a super effective and simple way to change who you are over time for the better. Now, affirmations aren't going to change you into a totally different person, and certainly not overnight. This is something that takes a lot of time and repetition, much like playing your instrument. So I highly recommend that you take a couple beliefs about yourself that either you know you'd like to improve or that you know are negative, and write down the ideal state of being that you'd like to be in with those areas. Another really important aspect to consider with your affirmations is how you go about reading them. Oftentimes, just reading them in your head isn't enough. If you really want to solidify the words you've written down for yourself, I recommend standing tall with your feet shoulder width apart and saying aloud your affirmations over and over again in the mornings. Spending just 5 or 10 minutes on this every single day for a couple weeks can really influence you for the better. I highly recommend you try it out. The next mindfulness practice is journaling. Now, this is something that everybody knows about, but very few people actually do it on a regular basis. Now, for some reason, there's a stereotype around journaling that it's only something which angsty teenagers do to write down how their parents wronged them that day or just what they were upset about. But really, it can be so much more than that. Journaling done the right way can be such a tool for creating a better, more positive life for yourself. The main point of journaling is just to get your thoughts out on paper. Like I mentioned earlier, there are so many inputs and distractions every single day, and there's so much going on that it's really important to just take a few minutes, sit down, and let it all out on the paper. Now, if you want to do this by writing out your whole day from start to finish, or just writing out the best things that happened to you this week, or even just writing down a few things that you're grateful for today, spending time journaling and letting go of your thoughts on paper will make you way more mindful in the future. In addition to the emotional benefits of journaling, writing is such an important way of thinking more intuitively over time. This is so important for musicians because we have to be so intentional and specific with everything we do on our instruments. Even though writing down words isn't actually practicing, it's building the same skills that you do use in the practice room. This is something that can subconsciously make you way better over time. So no matter what form of journaling you choose to do, I highly recommend you find 10 minutes either at the start or at the end of your day to sit down and write out your thoughts. The next mindfulness tactic is something that a lot of us musicians tend to forget, and that is taking care of your body. Being as busy as we are between school, ensembles, and actually practicing our instruments, it can be really hard to find enough time for sleep, exercise, or eating healthy. When we have so many other things going on, it can be really easy to just throw these things to the wayside. But it's really important to remember just how meaningful these things can be in our lives. Studies have shown that consistently exercising, getting more sleep, and eating healthier can make you way less stressed and fatigued over time. Now, I'm sure you don't need me to tell you why this is so important for us as musicians. Like I said earlier, we are all just so busy that it's really important to do anything we can to avoid fatigue and eventually burnout. You hear stories all the time of musicians that work so hard at their instrument just to end up quitting and never playing again because they end up getting burned out. Now, I don't know about you, but that's not exactly where I want to be in 5 years. So really being intentional with how much sleep you're getting, what you're eating, and if you're exercising is something that you should really prioritize in your own life. Not only will doing these things make you healthier in the long run, but it'll actually make you a better player in the short term as well. Just by getting more sleep alone, your body's going to be more able to learn and store things that you practice in your long-term memory. This is going to make your practice way more effective by allowing you to become better and retain what you learn in the practice room over time. Now, there are a couple of very simple but often overlooked ways of treating your body better. No matter what, you need to go to bed and wake up at the same time every single day. If you don't do this, it'll throw off your body's circadian rhythm and its sense of time, which will throw you off during the day too, whether you realize it or not. A great way to make sure this happens is by turning off your phone about an hour before bed every night. This will not only help you fall asleep faster, but it'll also help you get better quality sleep too. So that means that you can get more out of the sleep that you're already getting. Combining this no phones policy at night with a dedication of waking up and going to bed at the same time, you'll be getting a lot better quality sleep and becoming a much better musician as a result. When it comes to exercise, the best thing you can do is to get 30 to 60 minutes of hard work in every single day. Now, I know this is very hard to fit in with your schedule, so there is an easier and very effective way to do this. By just committing 10 minutes every day to a small workout routine, you'll make so much more progress than if you just didn't do any of it at all. It doesn't really matter what you do in this 10 minutes. You can spend part of it stretching, you can do some push-ups, some jumping jacks, you can go on a short jog, but no matter what, it's important to get your heart racing and get in some exercise every day. Now, when it comes to eating healthier, I highly recommend that you start keeping a food log. To do this, just open any note-taking app on your phone, and every time you eat something, just put it in there. There are really intense ways of doing a food log where you count all of the calories and macronutrients, and that can be great if that's what you're going for, but for most of us, we don't really need to do that. Just keeping track of what you're eating makes you more aware and less likely to eat junk food. Over time, this very small and subtle change will create a large impact on your eating habits and give you a lot more energy and ability to learn and retain knowledge as a result. While it would be great if we could all commit to eating super healthy diets, that's not always the most feasible thing. So keeping a food log doesn't necessarily limit you from eating anything bad, but it does encourage you to eat better. And it is important to treat yourself every now and then, just for your sanity. Last but not least, the final mindfulness tactic is to unplug. As I've said countless times before, there are so many inputs we get every single day, but a lot of these are just by choice. And also by choice, we can remove them from our lives and make things so much simpler and so much better. Living on social media is not only a huge distraction from what's going on around you in life, but its self-gratifying nature will also make you a less patient and more easily aggravated person. The truth of the matter is that the more time you spend on your phone and on things like social media, the less able you'll be to be committed to your goals in the practice room. By definition, practicing involves challenging yourself over and over again over time. This is completely counterintuitive to the way that social media is structured to just give us instant gratification. So I really encourage you to find as many ways as you can to unplug from the electronics and spend more time away from your phone than on it. One of the easiest ways you can force yourself to disconnect from your phone is just by shoving it to the bottom of your bag every day. Keeping it out of your pocket discourages you from using it all the time when you're just waiting in line and mindlessly scrolling through Facebook. Keeping your phone in your bag certainly won't stop you from using it, but creating just a small barrier between you and it will help you to stay more in the moment and use it less. All in all, it's important to remind yourself that your phone is a tool and not a way of life. Now, we've covered a lot of mindfulness tactics and things you can do to just improve your quality of life, but it's really hard to find time to implement them when we're all so busy. But the easiest and most effective way that I've found to do this is by creating a morning and night routine. Now, this does require some extra work on your part, but it really is worth it if you implement this correctly. By committing to just waking up 30 minutes or even an hour before normal, you'll have so much time to spend developing your mindfulness practice. Over time, this will not only make you a more well-rounded and selfless person, but it'll also make you a better musician. There's certainly no pressure to try and implement all of these tactics at once, but I highly recommend that you pick just one or two mindfulness things to start with and do it consistently. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you liked it, then please let me know by hitting the like button down below and clicking subscribe. If you'd like to see another one of my videos, then click here, and if you'd like to read more about the Informed Musician, then click right here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.